I think my work is very different with people, whether it's one-on-one with leaders or other coaches, or whether it's in front of a room. Prior to the principles, I really thought that it was a good idea, and a way to help people was to help them understand their psychological nature. By that I mean why they do what they do. So where does it come from? What's the core issue? How do we uncover it? And, I had this thought that, okay, if they're here and they want to get here, the best way to do that is to uncover all the challenges and roadblocks and obstacles that they might have. So, made a big deal about everything, from their habits to their behaviors to their subconscious saboteurs, whatever it might be. But that was a language and a way of believing that I totally thought mattered. And I did that with myself as well as with my clients. So there was a way in which, it felt like a never-ending job that you sort of had to be careful, because something could jump up at any time and keep you from getting where you were trying to go, or get what you were trying to get. And so in my one-on-one work with executives or with other individuals, a lot of our conversation was in that realm. And to be fair, I think it was helpful. It's not as if I spent the last 20 years of my life doing something I didn't think was helpful. But what was amazing was, as I started to learn about the principles and have this shift for me personally, and start to see that it didn't matter, the why was irrelevant. Why I do what I do is a question that basically I see now doesn't serve. It can be interesting, and maybe sometimes I can get off on that track, but it's not helpful. It's not a leverage point for creating my future. And I thought analyzing my behavior really mattered. And what I'm seeing now is, if I'm working with my clients or myself and I'm looking at behavior, I'm too late. If I'm commenting and trying to help them on a behavior level, I've missed the boat. As the principles point us and show us that, we have our thinking and our feeling. Our feeling follows our thought, right? Direct relationship. And then our experience is nothing more than a reflection of our thinking and feeling in that moment. So we have our thinking, we have our feeling, we have our experience, and then we have our behavior. Our behavior follows that. At this point, it's already after the fact. So once I saw that, and it became really clear for myself, I started getting less interested in my clients' behaviors and way more interested in what was happening before, and helping them understand that their behavior in any given moment, we're always doing the best we know how. That's it. And the more I can point them in the direction of the principles and the understanding, what was amazing to me was to watch them have these amazing insights that actually stuck. That all of a sudden their behaviors were shifting and without effort. And that was completely new to me, because I was a, hard-working, work ethic mattered kind of gal, and so I used to think people just worked hard, it would change. But the amazing thing about this work now is that just through understanding and looking in this direction and having conversations, we help our clients wake up to one level of understanding, but then we stick with them. And we continue to have a conversation. And what happens is every conversation takes their understanding deeper. And the more we do that, and we point them in the direction, and we do that with them, then they have the insights that matter. They have a personal insights. So my advice and techniques for shifting behavior are a waste of time. And ultimately, while they can be helpful, they're when you compare it to somebody having a personal insight into what's really going on, it's small beans, and again, irrelevant. So in the one-on-one work, it was just very obvious, and it's very rewarding, and I just love doing it. I just love it. And then as I started to do work with companies and leaders and groups, prior it was about skills and behaviors and leadership competency or culture and engagement, or teamwork. There were these different kind of topics that I could come in, and sales training or leadership capability, and I could come in, and again, I loved that work, and I did well in it, and I think it was helpful. But when I saw that state of mind, where somebody's coming from, and their ability to understand that was underneath all of those skills and competencies and engagement and teamwork and all of that, underneath it was that, I saw there was no other conversation I wanted to be having. So I've used the example before, but if I work with a leader on their tone or their communication skills or their presence, that can be really helpful. But if they walk into a situation in a low state of mind or a low frame of mind and they have no understanding of that, all they've learned about presence and communication skills goes out the window. And what that other employee or their team feels is where they're coming from. So again, now the conversation that I have with companies and with executives is on this hidden variable, state of mind and how it impacts their day-to-day quality at work, their performance on the job, and their performance as a company. And again, as much as with the one-on-one, I love that conversation as much, and I see real change happening for leaders again without hard work and effort and control and all of that. So yeah, I love it. I'm really grateful for it. So last year I moved from Paris to the States after I quit my job to start my own coaching and consulting business. And I was in Missouri visiting family and moving to California, and a good friend of mine made the trip with me. And on the way there, it was such a great trip. The scenery was amazing, and we were having these great conversations about what my life would be like and what a great opportunity I had and all this potential for my business, and won't it be fun to see how it all turns out. And it was just a great experience. And then we got to California and had a celebratory dinner that night, and then I took her to the airport the next morning, and when I got home and shut the door, I instantly thought, oh my God, what am I doing? I've got to get busy. I better start making money. I better get clients. I better get on it. I better start making my to-do list. And I was on it. And it wasn't until like 2 or 3 days later that I sort of woke up and realized, like, wow, what just happened? I just rode, this fearful, what if, scary scenario thinking for a number of days. I mean, it's not as if my bank account changed from one day to the next and she didn't take my cash with her when she went out the door. Nothing had changed. But I had gone from this potential and seeing the opportunity and this wonderful feeling to like immense pressure and fear. And what I saw again was just that was just my thinking. My thinking had just taken me someplace, and thank God I had, a moment of clarity. And as I was thinking and reflecting on that, I realized, like, well, wow, don't worry about it. Then I tried to make myself feel a little better, right? Then I was like, oh, you'll be fine. And you just need faith. Faith that everything's going to turn out, and just trust. Yeah, that's it. That's all you have to do, is just have faith and trust that it's all going to work out the way you want it. So I was talking to my coach on the phone, and I was sharing with him what I'd noticed, and then I was sharing, that, yeah, so I really, see that all I need is faith and trust that it's all going to work out the way I want it. And he took a pause and he said, well, Barb, I'm not sure that it's faith in the way, faith that it's all going to work out the way you want it? What if it's faith in yourself that no matter what happens, you'll be fine? And that really struck me that, yeah, it's true. I have this resource. I live in this intelligence, this thing we call mind in the Principles, that I have access to this thing that allows me in any moment, regardless of any circumstance or anything going on around me, gives me what I need, gives me what I need to handle whatever's going on in the moment, that I have access to that. And it also is where that potential sits for anything to happen, for a new thought, for a creative idea. So I didn't even need to worry about what might or might not happen. It wasn't about faith that circumstances would go the way I want it to go. It was faith and a remembering, actually, that I have something on my side. We all have something available to us that lives within us and access and connected to at all times, that gives us everything we need in any given moment to handle whatever's happening around us. And that has sat with me, and that insight has taken me a long way and continues this day to deepen for me more and more.